Hey, so I am here to talk to you about irritability with bipolar disorder or bipolar disorder with irritability. Anyway, yes, I have blue and pink and purple hair. It was by accident, but it looks really awesome when it's done, which it is not. Because I am getting ready for bed, but I have to do this or I won't be able to sleep. And I am in my pajamas. Anyway, now that we have that out of the way, I've been having a really bad spell of irritability. Um, my irritability is part of my mixed episodes. I haven't had it this intense for some time, and it's like trying to sit on an elephant to keep it from standing up. It's impossible. I know it's there, I'm aware of it, and I can't stop it. So, how do you know if events and people with behaviors are setting you off? Or is it irritable outbursts from your bipolar disorder? Well, there's no test, and only you will know. No one else can tell for you because this is why. This is how I know. Oh, and I know my everything is all awkward in the background. I'm preparing to paint, and it's taking me, I can only do a little bit at a time because I'm in a bad space. And when I get just a little bit I've done, I feel better. So it's probably going to take me like 6 months. Anyway, this is how I can tell the difference between life pissing me off and my bipolar disorder kicking my ass. Um, I just thought that like when I drink water and swallow with this microphone right there, it probably like makes a really exaggerated swallowing noise. Sorry about that if it does. Um, this is how I tell. For me, when it's everybody else that's making me crazy, irritable, and I sense that it's outward, that it's events, something somebody said. It's coming from the outer world and pissing me off. And I can do adult in most of those situations. You know, I might sigh or walk away a little bit rudely. um, like there's some sort of repair you need done to your car. It's one of those things that it won't pass inspection unless you get it. And you go and you get an estimate and you're finding out how much it's going to cost. And it's overwhelming. And you're angry that it's going to cost that much because it shouldn't cost that much. The way cars are made now, you can't just get a little part. You got to replace the whole freaking hunk of thing. Um, and so you might sigh and take your receipt and stomp away a little bit. I'm sure they're totally used to that. Um, but it's not like over the top. It's you get in your car, you take a deep breath. You're still mad, you're still pissed, but you're not taking it out on other people. At least that's how I experience it. I'm like, okay, I need to do something to chill, and I do something to chill, meditate. I used to do yoga. Um, go for a walk, do something to just take my mind off of that crappy thing, like organize my records, listen to some music, there are things. Uh, now when I experience irritability as a symptom of my bipolar disorder, we're talking a whole different monster. Um, I would say there are levels, and they can escalate in a matter of seconds. Um, a second. Now we're talking destruction of property, slamming things, throwing things, just like being 1 second okay with one little frustrating thing, like my iTunes isn't cooperating, and I can handle it for a fraction of a second, and next thing I know, I'm smacking my mouse against the table, and and God forbid a person be near me, because I am going to say something very mean and hurtful, or just what I have been doing lately is just shutting myself up, because I had this. I mean, this is a real thing, and um, it's not the same as when it's external. You have control over it. Um, I mean, there are things you can maybe make it less, like less caffeine, more exercise. But if you have this symptom, there's it's there. It is there, and it wants to be present, and it wants other people to know it is here. Um, and and like I said, I can go from 0 to 10 in a fraction of a second, and I hit that 10, and whoever is nearby is making too much noise or moving somewhere too much, and they become like collateral damage, and I start spewing awful things. And I have lived in the same house with my mom for many years, and she has always been the, she's always been home, most of the time when it happens. And so I totally load off on her, even though she has absolutely nothing to, nobody has anything to do with what's going on. But the fact is you say things that are just horrible, and can hurt people. Like, it's like bipolar disorder searches and finds very rapidly the most hurtful thing you could say to that person, um, stomping away, yelling, throwing, and it's scary um, to people. And my mom one time said she was ready to leave, move out, which would have left me with no way of being able to afford to live alone because, the throwing electronics just really get the brunt of my problems. I have I have learned, like I said, one coping mechanism, and and if I catch it quick enough, crawling its way up, um, I find somewhere to hide and just curl up and wait because you know I don't have a lot of money to replace things. I've had this problem since I was a teenager. The first time I was admitted to the hospital, um, I guess they searched my room and they found under my bed broken electronics, like a record player, a TV, um, holes in the walls where I had strategically put stuff so you couldn't see them. Um, so it's it's really an uncomfortable, physically uncomfortable place to be. And right now, I have been in this place for a couple weeks. It's just physically uncomfortable, and I don't want to say, like, if I shut myself up too much, my mom thinks there's something wrong. And then she'll come and ask me, "Are you coming down for dinner?" And anytime I don't show up for our regular routine, she gets worried. And then I'm like, I don't know what to say to her. I just need to be alone right now. But I usually lie and say, "I'm tired, I'm taking a nap," or something. But that's not true. I am protecting her by keeping that door shut between us because I know that I'm in a place where, I just, the tension and then the tension that builds so fast and needs to release so fast. I had to get, what did I have to do? I had to get an MRI the other day of my hand, and which is a whole story. But anyway, I had been in a it's so weird because I have it is part of a mixed episode. I'm depressed, and yet at the same time, it's like I'm alternating between I don't have enough energy to get out of bed, and I'm so wound tight and need to be angry at someone to feel better that I just can't leave my room either way. But anyway, I went in, and the lady, there's this innocent woman standing behind plexiglass, and she's got to make sure I put on a different. I wore my mask that we made 3 layers with a HEPA filter in between so we could wear them and then be effective. And they're Harry Potter ones. I love Harry Potter. And so I go in with my Harry Potter mask on, and they're like, you're not allowed to wear um, cloth masks anymore. You have to wear one of these yellow ones. Now, I'd been there before, and they said the same thing before, and I was like, that first time I was like, oh, wow, that kind of sucks. It's boring. I don't like being boring. And, and so I took the mask and put it on and went about life. But this time, I got such attitude with this lady. I'm like, this mask that I made has 3 layers plus a half a filter in between. It's actually more effective than these yellow scrappy things you have. And I mean, I was just like being a complete bitch for no reason. And I knew I was, and I couldn't stop that I was. And I'm huffing and stomping and just being a jerk. And she hands my folder to another lady and to put me in the computer. And it dawns on me at some point during the MRI that that this lady doing her job, trying to keep people safe, didn't deserve my bipolar attitude, because I always feel remorse afterward. And I know I'm like, one time I told my mom, and it doesn't help though, because you've already done the deed. You've already said the hurtful words, and there's no taking them back. I know one time I was like, Mom, I'm so sorry earlier that I was an asshole, but I can't stop it. I can't, when it's coming, I can't stop it. And I don't think she believed me. Anyway, I did the grown-up thing, and on my way out, I had calmed down by then. I stopped at her little kiosk and said, I just wanted to apologize for being short and a jerk, because I'm in pain and I just had to have an MRI. I don't know how I'm gonna pay for, and she's like, that's okay, everybody has those days. And she was really nice about it, and I felt better that I apologized. But you can only do that so many times, and it doesn't mean anything anymore. Now, I did realize that I had run out of I take a pediatric dose of Zoloft, specifically for angry outbursts, irritable outbursts. And I had my system that I have for my medication, I guess, it fell through the cracks, and I hadn't taken it probably in over a week. And I got it refilled, and I think I've had 2 doses. So maybe that will make me more like someone who's okay to be out in public. Now, that brings me to another topic, which I might expound on later. Taking medication or not taking medication for your bipolar disorder. I know for a fact that if I do not take the medication that I have taken for a long time, and am grateful to have finally been discovered and put out there, even though pharmaceutical companies are a racket. I do have my Seroquel. I do have lithium, both extended release, continuous release, and I can take those. I can take that baby uh, Zoloft um, and my as needed Xanax, which told me that this irritability issue was pretty bad this time because I tried taking a Xanax as I am prescribed as needed. Without my medication, I would be and I'm being honest with you here, um, I would be a danger to myself and others. I would be in and out of the hospital. In fact, I'd probably be stuck in one permanently. I'd probably be committed like forever and live in a home of some nature where they forced you to take your medication. Because I am a little prone that when things get a little high or a little low, paranoid delusions, false memory delusions, um, auditory hallucinations, visual crazy stuff, and I have to be careful. Yeah, so, and I would have no quality of life whatsoever. Um, I'm pretty independent for the degree of disorder I have. And I have a good situation that a lot of people don't have access to, or, you know, I have someone I'm living with. I'm not alone all the time. I have pets. I have a home with all the amenities, electricity, heat, and plumbing, you know. Um, and I have tools for my disorder. And I'm responsible for my meds, my doctor's appointments. Um, if I didn't do all that, if I didn't have all that, life would be very different. And I'm addressing the uh, option that everyone has to not take their medication. Way back when I was first diagnosed, twice I stopped because the first time was I had this warped logic that if I'm not being treated for a disorder, I don't have it. These pills that are in my bathroom every morning reminds me, and I'm like, well, I don't want to have this disorder, so if I get rid of the evidence, um, then maybe I won't have the disorder. Uh, that didn't work out well. The second time, I was angry about having bipolar disorder. Um, and I was feeling very defiant and angry about having to adjust my lifestyle and all of this and just chucked it down the toilet. And that time I ended up in the hospital. So, since I've been on Seroquel XR and lithium CR, I haven't been in the hospital. I haven't even come close to needing to be in the hospital. So, yeah, it's your choice, but I have the enormity, the space between quality of life with or without medication is huge. And so I would I would never consider. I don't want to know. I don't I, I don't want to know what life would be like if I didn't have something that was fixing my neurotransmitters. And that doesn't mean I'm just sitting back letting the medication do its business. I do my part too. So, I don't just like take my pills and complain to my doctor that none of these pills are working, and then, not doing my part to help. So, I just want to throw that in there. Anyway, here is to a irritable free tomorrow. I am seeing a dog that has an aggression issue, and the owners created it. I haven't told them that, but they have created this situation. So I get to go and uncreate it. So I told them that this visit, I'm just going to visit with the dog and not them. Because, I don't know, they're just got a little bit of an, anyway, that's what we're wishing for tomorrow. All right, going to bed. Good night. Sleep tight. Hope you do not deal with mixed episodes and the irritability that tends to go with it.